Today we have James on the call with us for our first ever jazz session.
I'm still in the process of personally integrating this worldview, but it's based on something called coexistence theory. It's the idea that void and existence coexist, which is deeply paradoxical. I believe in integrating our ideas and trying them out. So that process involves me, what I call crystallizing paradoxes. So trying to understand a given situation or experience in human consciousness, my own, of course, through the lens of paradoxes.
We need to honor the truth, but we also need to tell a good story. We need to find the good things about the truth and emphasize them. And it helps us to know about our impact, how we need to be responsible, and how we need to take our life super fucking seriously, because we are given this time. We have this time. What are we going to do with it? Are we just going to sit around and pretend like it's not going to end? Are we going to sit around and pretend like it doesn't matter because we'll really live after we're dead? No, this is it. This is it. This isn't an audition or like a trial run. This is it. Take your life super fucking seriously. Grab it and live it and do your best and make the best impact you can, because you are only here once. There's only one you.
It's quite curious. I don't see God as something that has a consciousness until it descends, and I think descent is something of a necessary phenomenon. It's like the world necessarily has to have some sort of differentiation in it, and if it didn't have that, then there wouldn't be much of a world, even if you were to be on one extreme of flight or in descent. It's a causal sort of way of trying to come to terms with that the world is here. You're trying to create a story out of it. Yeah.
So you have a repeating process that's going on over and over and over again as you go up the hierarchy. What makes arches really interesting is that they are embedded in the very evolutionary development of understanding. So going like from 480p to like 8K of like understanding what's going on. And, at different levels of pixelation, there's going to be certain images that we're going to misunderstand and think that there's something different. Like, eventually, when you get a high enough resolution, eventually things get really crisp. So it's always really difficult to make a prediction of the future of what sociocultural evolutionary development is going to look like, what the evolution of our theories are going to look like, what we would name a new scope of inquiry, because we don't have anything to reflect on yet.
What I envision, it's almost like fostering the intellectual curiosity for people to learn mathematics, and maybe to learn it not just for balancing the checkbook. It's more to have an appreciation and to not be afraid to study, go deep. Even if someone were to come up with the absolute path of enlightenment mathematically, you got to know something before you put one foot in front of the other to start traveling down it. You're not going to take it off the shelf and buy it for a quid and bring it back and drink it. You got to work at it. It's a very individual journey in that regard.
The most important idea you can take away from Whitehead is that the universe is alive. Everything has some degree of animacy, some degree of interiority and agency, and that, we as human beings are participants in a very ancient process of evolution, and that everything we do moment by moment in our individual lives and as a collective, as a species, will ramify into the future to affect the community members that will take over from us. And so it's both I think a tremendous gift to realize that we are the inheritors of all of this brilliance, but also it's a tremendous responsibility, because what we do matters for the future. I've always, in my workshops and facilitation, I've offered by donation or kind of sliding scale things, because I think we're not doing it for money, we're doing it for making the world a better place. And we all have to survive, so money has to be involved in some form, ideally. But yeah, really good on you, and that's really cool. Yeah. Sounds awesome.
I mean, I do a similar thing with my work. Like, I publish it all online for free and make it all available. And then I just have like a Patreon.
I definitely think that you can hold more with your hands open than with your hands closed.
I love that. Yeah. That's a really great place.
That being said, support me on Patreon. Support this support this podcast on Patreon. If you value this stuff, please support us, because as you know, there's a small community for this stuff.